What can a dance like tango teach us about leadership, love, and letting go? Today, we sit down with Linda Sutton to explore how every step in a relationship tells a story and how learning to lead with grace might be the key to deeper connections.
Let's talk about love and marriage, the way that God intended. Life experience, here we share it. The No Fruit Podcast. Tune in from any platform. No Fruit Podcast. Will help your spirit transform.
Thank you so much, Linda, for coming on today with the No Fruit Podcast. We're so excited to have you. My first question for you is, because you've been made such a powerful connection between tango and relationships, what is it about this dance, the tango, that reflects the deeper truth about how we lead, follow, and how we can stay connected in love?
Oh, wow. She starts out with a power question. I was still in the praise moment of the intro music, but that's okay because I'm a music person. So let me start by first saying that the tango is one that kind of consumed my life or kind of took over my life, but it wasn't the first dance that I taught and performed and studied. I was actually a professor of African dances and was studying the African roots of tango throughout the world. And I started studying and doing research on the African roots of tango. And when I'm, doing research and doing work with a dance, I not only do kind of the historical significance, but I actually do the kinesthetic, the movement, the actual learning of the dance. And tango was one of those first dances that really required me to bring all of me to the dance. Like there was no faking it. Mm-hmm. There was no pretending. There was no pattern that I could lean on. Like I really had to bring all of myself to the dance and to my partner in order for the dance to work. If I held back anything, if I wasn't really completely present with my partner, then I found that the dance would just be a struggle or it just wouldn't work at all. So that was the beginning of me doing the deep dive on how tango reflects relationships, because I realized it was a direct reflection of the relationship I was having with my partner in the moment. Tango is specific because, number one, it doesn't have a set pattern. It really is pure leading, follow. It's pure relationship. And tango is one of those rare dances that moves in a progressive fashion. So not only, it's not like you're like salsa or where you're in your own kind of bubble or area. You not only have to be in step with your partner, but you have to be in step with every other couple on the floor. And it really becomes a metaphor for not only being in connection with your partnership, your own intimate partnership, but how your partnership impacts the world around you.
Wow.
And after that, I was hooked.
Yeah. And that's remarkable. Like, again, not only connecting in the dance, but also connecting in the relationship.
Absolutely.
So this is like really good in reference to being able, how do we connect in our relationships, and then how did that reflect again in dance, and how do we grow those things?
This exact same process that it takes for two dancers to get in step and connect and surrender and have trust in one another are the same exact steps that you have to use off the dance floor. So just to be clear, even though we talk about it metaphorically, I am a dance instructor. I work with couples and know all their business when they come to my class, not because they tell me, but because I can see it in their dance within 3 songs. And so the same process that I walk them through to get in step and synergy and connected and trust and surrender and cooperate in their dance, same exact process off the dance floor.
Wow. I mean, you're saying those buzzwords, trust, surrender, and a lot of those words that we have difficulty with. But I can see how some can maybe understand it a little bit more on the dance floor and be more trustworthy on the dance floor, be more giving on the dance floor. So how does that play in relationships? Like, how do we become more trustworthy and more giving and submissive, if you will, in our relationships, just as we would on the dance floor?
And it's beautiful because I think what is important for people to understand is even though there are buzzwords and things that we use, kind of talking points, they're actually experiences on the floor. So trust is not a talking point in my class. And the leaders understand that quickly. It's like one of their biggest aha moments is that my partner trusting me and my leadership is not just a metaphor. It's something I can feel in her body. It's something that I can feel in the level of tension, the level of resistance, the level of ease that she feels in her balance, all of these kinds of things. And so it's an experience that you are seeking. And so off the dance floor in relationships, when you understand that even though you're thinking in your head, that your relationship is literally happening in your bodies are talking, then you can start to have an awareness of what's going on in your relationship besides or behind the words you speak.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. And I think, I've watched dance on television, and it's such a beautiful thing when the two are becoming one and move so fluidly across the dance floor. You can see it, you can feel it just watching it. So I can only imagine when the two dancers are in that situation, what that feels like. And like you said, it's an experience. And so talk to us a little bit about that experience and what it feels like.
Well, number one, it's the reason why I'm sitting here on this couch right now. As they say, I'm sitting in the couch in therapy right now. No, the first time I had that true experience is the reason that I'm literally here now. I had an experience with a dancer abroad, and it was something that the young ladies, they were talking about this one particular dancer. Had no idea who they were, but I was like, okay, ladies talk about the gentleman's here. And this dancer actually happened to ask me to dance. And it was a very crowded floor. And all of a sudden, it felt like we were the only two people in the room.
Right.
And I was not a new dancer. So I was just kind of like, whoa. And I had that first experience where I felt like we merged.
Okay.
And it was like we were one person. I knew his thoughts. I knew what he was going to do. The room dissolved. And so when I came out of that experience, I realized I was like, oh my God, when they say man and woman become one in marriage, when they say in tango to become one, it is not a metaphor.
Wow.
It is an energetic, spiritual reality. And when I had that epiphany, I wanted to learn, how do you get there? And if I could ever teach other people to replicate that.
Wonderful.
And that is why we do it. So for people, who are wondering, about surrender and submission and trust, when you come out of your head and the analogies and really try to pay attention to the experience of your partner, you'll tap into that wisdom.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's good. I think what you're describing, that experience, I think we all kind of want that. And if you have that as your focus, then you're willing to lead for those that don't want to lead. Because, some people are like, I don't want to be a leader. I don't want, and then you have those, hey, I don't want to surrender. So I think those are the things that if you remove some of that, like you say, get out of your head somewhat, and you think about the beauty of it all and what that oneness looks like and will feel like means so much more. And then you'll be able to remove that doubt. So what happens when someone does have that doubt? Like you're an instructor, and I'm sure everyone doesn't come in with, all of the bells and whistles and the fluidity that's needed to get through a wonderful dance like tango. How do you deal with that? Like, what happens when someone is feeling that they can't do this?
Oh, the resistance. I'm the day one on that. Yeah, the drag me kicking and screaming, and especially following. My first response to it as a dancer when I was a new dancer was like, ain't no man gonna tell me what to do. Ain't no man gonna be the boss of me. So it literally took me a year and a half to work through that resistance and understanding what it means to be a follower, what it means to be a leader, and the trust that comes. And it's not like sometimes in therapy, and it's different for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
but we think of a trust as a past thing.
Right.
And trust is really an actual kind of dynamic that occurs just because of the position that you're putting yourself in the moment. Walking backwards in heels is not a common thing for a woman.
Right.
Like, hello. So when a woman is concerned and looking for trust and reassurances and signs that she can trust her leader, that's not something from the past. That's literally an in the moment, what
Mm-hmm.
you're asking of her and her response to that request.
Yeah.
So when a person is, concerned and don't think that they can, when they come into our session, I'm like, you can. And it's a process. And it's okay that you don't have trust. It's okay that you're resistant to his lead. It's okay because the process of the dance is like the process of a relationship.
Mm.
You don't trust that person immediately when you first meet them on the street. You go through this process of getting to know them and increasing levels of trust. And it's the same on the dance floor. And so once people are okay with the process, it unfolds for them.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's the key. Is just kind of knowing yourself a little bit.
Mhm.
If Maurice was here, he would say, checking the man in the mirror, like understanding yourself, and then you can show up as yourself authentically, and then be able to move through the process because it is a process, as you stated.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about like that part of individuals kind of knowing who they are. Like, again, they come in thinking one thing and you're somehow able to pull out more from them. So how are you able to do that, and what's that process like?
Well, the first part is we have the two to tango, which is the show, but our
Yes.
tagline for the television show, it not only takes two to tango, it takes you to tango.
Oh, wow, yes.
And the premise of that is that you have to bring you, the whole you and your whole self, to the dance to be in partnership with another. But the caveat is when you bring all of you to the dance, all of you is there operating in the dance.
Mm-hmm.
So something that I tell leaders, especially, because of the power dynamic that always rears its head in the dance, is that everything you as a leader, everything you do and everything you are has an impact on your partner, and it has an impact on the world around you, the other couples on the floor. You can't get beyond that. So you have to be very mindful in your leadership that what you see in your partner and what you see in the world around you is a reflection of what you're doing, because the leader is responsible for initiation. So there's responsibilities that come with that. And so if your power is initiating the dance and initiating the couple, then there's responsibilities that come in with that. So you're always having to look to self and the world is a mirror of your leadership.
Yeah.
You can't pass the buck. If you're the leader, you can't pass the
You have
buck.
to lead, yes.
Exactly. And so you're responsible for your leadership. So this is an area where the gentlemen, for example, that are leading are constantly like, wow, I never had to look at myself in that way, that what I'm seeing in my children, what I'm seeing in my partner, what I'm seeing in my coworkers and my teams is in large part how I'm showing up and how I'm leading, whether directly or indirectly.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a real powerful awakening and awareness for them.
That's good. That's good. I think I've heard you also talk metaphorically in reference to the dance and relationships as one driving down the road.
Yes.
And how and how you have to pay attention to. You just said something like that leader cannot pass the buck. Well, if I'm the one behind the wheel, I can't pass the buck. No one else can take the wheel but me. So when you said that, I was like, I get it. So tell us a little bit about that part. Like, hey, when you're driving down the road, like you have to be aware of everyone else. I think one of my first lessons when I was little, my dad said to me, like, it's not about you in control. It's about being concerned about everyone else on the road, because you have to know if they don't make a turn signal that they're going to turn. So you have to be cautious of other people as well. And that helps you to make your own decisions on what to do and how to move and how to lead in that regard.
And so interesting that you said it's absolutely like that. And the first thing I thought of was like, Jesus, take the wheel.
Yes.
So leadership, and it's we go through the definitions of what the words mean. And to lead, we think of it as a controlled thing, but actually to lead, and you see it in the dance, is to guide along a path. So that's literally what to lead means. Now, leadership, we tend to think of it in a hierarchical fashion, like a boss and a manager. But no, a boss is a manager of people. We hope that they have leadership skills.
Yeah.
We hope that they are a leader, but by nature of position, it does not make them a leader.
Right.
Just like in the car, even though you're the one behind the wheel, you're responsible for the care and safety and the well-being of your passengers.
Yes.
And so if your passenger is, gripping onto their seat for dear life, then just because you're like, but I'm the one that's driving, does not mean that it's going to be a good experience for your partner, and that they're going to be desire to travel with you more and relax and just close their eyes and sleep during the trip.
Yeah.
And not that the woman sleeps, but you understand the kind of the ease.
I sleep.
Also, yeah, exactly, because you trust your driver. Like, you're
Yes.
not having to keep one eye up and be like, "Sir, is we gonna get there
Right.
in one piece? Is we go? Is we gonna end up in Idaho?" Like, you don't have those questions because your partner, and through your experience, has reassured you, I can relax. He's going to get us there safely, and he's going to get us to our destination, and it's going to be a pleasurable experience.
Yes.
It's the same thing in the dance. There's ways that a gentleman signals that. But not only that, you have to be aware and conscious of the other people, as both, like I said, as the dancer and as the driver, so that everybody gets there safe. So that everybody can have a pleasant experience getting to and from. It's not just like, I'm going to get there, but the other car, they're going to be scared that I'm going to crash into them because I'm driving recklessly because of how I want to drive. It's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting, I think, again, as leaders, we kind of think just about ourselves and how we're going to be and how we're going to show up as leaders. And that's a part of it. Like you said, we have to dig deep into ourselves and understand ourselves, but we also have to, as you said, understand those that are our passengers, who's in the car with us, and make them comfortable, and maybe do things differently so that they are comfortable. So again, leading that dance, they may not be able to lead it the same way each time with every partner because it's the same dance, but they have to make that individual feel comfortable, as well as the others on the road or those others that are on the dance floor. So it's multi-leveled on what that leader has to do, on taking care of themselves, taking care of those that are closest to them, and then also taking care of those, as you said, family members or those that are on the road that are further away from them. So there's so much that goes on during this dance, during this process. And kudos to those who have to be leaders and do all of that. And I think, we do it in so many ways, and sometimes without thinking about it, but to be able to take that time, which you do, to say, pause for a moment and think about what we're doing, and then the beauty of it all. So I thank you so much for how you're doing all of that. Tell us a little bit how people who are listening to us today can get a hold of you and learn more about Two to Tango and learn more about Linda Sutton.
Absolutely. Well, they can find me on all of the social media platforms. YouTube and Facebook is our most active, and Instagram. Also, I have 2 books out now.
Great.
So that's exciting. So you can always find us in Amazon, and It Takes Two to Tango is the first book. And So You Think You Can't Dance is the second that just came out this month, a few days ago.
Congratulations.
So we're excited. So they can come and dance with me, follow me, literally and figuratively. And looking forward to helping you transform all of your relationships.
Wonderful, wonderful. All of that information that Linda just shared will be in the show notes. Linda, before I let you go, I have one other question that I've been dying to ask you.
Oh, please.
Because you talk so much about dancing and music. If you could sing a duet with anyone in the world, living or deceased, who would you sing that duet with?
Duet? Wow. Because I listen to so much music. I don't usually think of singing. If I could sing a duet, well, I want them to be living. That's a tough one. It's a very, very tough one. Who would I want to sing a duet with? Gosh, I'll eat up all the time thinking. The
Living or
person,
deceased? Living or deceased? Yes. Who would you sing a duet with?
it'd be better if you asked me if I had when I have a conversation. But if I wanted to sing a duet,
Well, go ahead. Conversation. Who would you have a conversation with, living or deceased?
probably James Earl Jones.
James. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And not for all of the other reasons. See, I was
Yes.
able to pull that one out of
Yes.
there. Even with all the projects that he has done in his career, he did the voiceover for the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always fascinating because whenever I talk to my friends about, how do you hear from God and how do you, whatever. And I used to always say in a joking fashion, God doesn't always speak to us like James Earl Jones booming out of the sky.
Yes.
Like I used to always say that even before he did the work.
Oh, wow.
Even before he did the work, that was the metaphor. I was like, joy, it's not always sounding like James Earl Jones in your living room. And then he did the work and I was like, oh my God. So I always wanted to ask like what that experience was for him to connect with the word of God to deliver it in that audiobook. So that would be it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. He has a voice that, is one to remember, but sometimes God does whisper to us.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And in a still small voice, and you're like, oh, what is that? Did you hear that? And you're like, repeat it, God. I didn't get it all because you whispered, so, but thank you so much. It's been a joy having you on the show today. And we, wish you all the best with the 2 books. And again, listeners, if you please just join Linda and visit her site and step on into it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Ciao.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the No Fruit Podcast, where we bring you fruitful conversations, ripened wisdom, and love that's deeply rooted. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration in their day. Until next time, stay rooted in love, and remember, every seed you plant today shapes the fruit of tomorrow.